Around the globe, more and more people are discovering that the secret to a successful business is finding the right franchise for the right product in the right market and, of course, at the right time. But there can be risks without expert advice, analysis and insight. So, welcome to Business World and your chance to get the inside story on how to make the most of opportunities of franchising and turn potential into profits. Hello, I'm Nick Wood.
And I'm Julie Zhou. Have you ever dreamed of owning your own business? How would you like the chance to turn that dream into reality? A franchise might be the answer. Watch this program to discover all you need to know about the world of franchising, with detailed case studies, features and interviews. And later we'll be joined in the studio by Steve Brooks, the expert on the global success story, retail pop-ups.
So where to begin? How can you find out what's likely to be a surefire success at a time of recession? What types of businesses are trending in the UK or China, and what type of business best suits both your budget and your ambitions?
Join us at the perfect place to start the 2013 franchise show in Excel Centre in East London. It is time to take the plunge.
Franchising has become one of the most popular ways of doing business in today's global marketplace. Some of the biggest brands in the world are actually franchises that are names for hire on a high street. But what is franchising and how does it work in practice?
Okay, so a franchisee is where a business buys the opportunity to use a brand. So somebody like McDonald's or KFC, Pizza Hut, where they've got established procedures, established supply chain and established marketing. And they buy the rights to use that in a territory or a location under the terms of their license.
Well, franchising, it's I think a method of building and growing a business coupled with training and support. So in other words, versus going on your own and a franchise hopefully has good backup support and training to get you through and successful quickly. That's really what a franchise is supposed to do.
Franchising is a way to, rather than starting your own concept, it's a way to buy a proven system that works and use those systems and infrastructure of the franchisor in order to not necessarily guarantee success, but increase your chances of success.
Every franchise contains the same essential elements. Franchising is the buying of a successful business. It's the business equivalent of an off-the-pack suit. Some people call it the business in the box. The franchisor allows the franchisee to purchase and run a version of their business in a given territory, high street, or platform, but they have to operate a franchise under certain rules and guidelines already established by the franchisor. By taking the franchise, the buyer agrees to these rules. The franchisee pays a royalty for the trademark, which also contributes to a reimbursement for the training and advisory input, so the company recruitment works on more than one level. Franchisor will allow the franchisee the proven system, including the business model, the trademark, the management, and ongoing support. Franchisee will get revenue from selling the standardized products and services to the end customers.
Let's look at how the whole business of franchising started and the sort of companies that are involved today.
Franchise originated in Europe, but then the idea quickly took hold in the United States. Although the USA tops the list of global franchises in terms of number of outlets and annual turnover, China actually has more franchise operations, but on a smaller scale.
Many people associate franchising only with fast food outlets. In fact, there are now more than 120 different types of franchise businesses around the globe. However, the top 10 franchises worldwide reflect the dominance of the leisure and food industry, from hotel chains to sandwiches, burgers to donuts, pizzas to health clubs.
The USA is the leader in franchising. It's led the way since the 1930s when it used this approach for fast food restaurants and motels, particularly at the time of the Great Depression. According to International Franchise Association, a franchised business creates jobs faster than other business models. Forecasted figures for 2013 estimate the number of franchised businesses in the U.S. will rise to over 757,000, generating $802 billion of output. This will amount to more than 8 million jobs. As in the past, franchising has boomed when the economic climate is tough and when people look for reassurances in the security of the market.
Despite the sort of companies that make the top 10 list, the most common franchises available today offer business development opportunities, such as marketing plans and operations manuals.
So we spoke to some of the leading experts in this particular field of franchising.
The rising star as far as franchise is now business-to-business concepts. Food is always popular, but business-to-business services are now rising actually quicker than food is right now. So there's a number of business-to-business concepts. Sino-British is one of them, people like that. Food kind of plays out after a while, and businesses need services. So really that's the rising side of franchising right now.
In today's fast-moving world, that the only really competitive advantage that's out there now is continuous education. You've got to stay current and you've got to stay educated. And for most business owners, that's tough. It's tough to know where to go, it's difficult to know where to get the great information, and it's hard to get out of their offices for long periods of time. So what we've done is packaged great training, in fact 32 proven practical how-to workshops, and these are delivered by our franchisees locally on the ground in the communities where they operate. So we build, if you like, a small business incubation community of up to 50 driven, focused entrepreneurs who come together twice a month to share great ideas and to get professional business training. And our vision is to have over 500 of these clubs around the world.
Well, we do anything trade shows. We can put this on. A franchisee can organize a trade show. We do sales events, corporate retreats for companies and their sales staff. We do personal events, anniversaries and things of that nature. But I'd say corporate events is our main, what we do, working with companies for corporate events.
Dream, believe and lead. And we help our business partners to develop their business in more than just the traditional sense, because we move into the personal development aspect with them to really help them to achieve the success that they're looking for. And it starts with a dream. We encourage our business partners to work on their dreams, but to put time frames around them and other parameters to turn them really into goals, and to really believe in themselves, in the business that they're creating, in the company that they're partnered with, and the products and services that they're using as the vehicle to generate an income and build an asset. And leadership is what it's all about, and that's what we very much believe in. And we love developing great leaders who can just help so many more people to build their own businesses and realize their dreams too.
Our club, we call it the Business Wealth Club, because wealth is not just about money. Wealth's about wealth of relationships, wealth of contacts, it's about wealth of community, it's about wealth of ideas. Money is obviously a part of wealth, but it's not the only thing, right? So how quickly people go on to be successful is down to how much action they take. So one of the things I'm fairly famous for saying is that you get paid on what you get done. And you know what? If people don't implement the ideas, then it takes them longer. If they're fairly they're driven people and they come in and they apply the ideas, we've had businesses that have grown 40, 50, 60, 200% in 1 year alone. So it's really down to them, and it's down to their decision and how much they'll go and apply.
So my story is interesting. I started my business off 8 years ago, and I told my employer to shove his job, and I walked away from a job, and I arrived home and I've gone, I'm going to start my own business off. And then I've gone, I have no idea what I was intending to do. Started my own business off, and it was tough. And what I realised is that businesses in the UK, they need support, so that people that are running their own business is quite lonely. When you work in a big organisation, you'll have other people so you can talk to them. But when you work in isolation, you're sat there and you feel sorry for yourself, you don't feel confident. And actually, that's how I felt. I didn't feel confident, I felt sorry for myself. And then I sort of did the research to find out that there's many thousands of businesses around the UK that are in the same situation. So we brought them all together around the UK. The other organisations have set up 100 networking groups that are all independent. So the members of this group can't speak to these ones, and this group, whereas for networking, every member has full access. So it's a bit like the internet for people, really. So you can go anywhere with you where you want. When you run a business, you're going to have days when you feel fabulous, and there's going to be days when you feel like that. And actually, business people don't normally tell you that they feel sad or down and, you know, lacking in confidence. And this is what I've allowed for networkers to do, is by saying, guess what, when I started my business off, I felt low. And as a result, people around me started picking me up, and that's what we do. It's a big supportive network, big supportive network. So yeah, you are going to go through that, and people need to accept that if they're going to start a business off.
So for aspiring entrepreneurs wanting to follow in these inspiring footsteps, why should they choose franchising as the way to go?
We met plenty of people who had answers at the London Franchise Show.
You're buying a model, and as long as you follow the system and you stay within the parameters of the model, then it increases the chances that your business will be successful.
If going on your own, you have a 37% chance of failure your first year. Franchise has got a very high success rate. So it's not 100% foolproof, but it's 93% foolproof. So that's just the way to go. I mean, all the methods and trials and things that could go wrong, we've already ironed out. So a new franchisee coming in can avoid those mistakes.
A franchise brings with structure, proven system, and all of those great benefits that franchising has for new business startups, but without the large costs that are usually associated with franchises. My personal view is that it's a way for people to start a business of their own with reduced risk of failure. Failure rates in startups are so high today, higher than they've ever been. And if you start a business with a proven system where the bugs have already been ironed out for you by your corporate partner, then that is really going to reduce the risk and give you a much higher chance of having a successful business. One of them is people might want to have a business, but they don't know what business they want to be in. And so to have a selection of ready-made businesses that they can look at and see what takes their fancy is a really appealing thing, especially when combined with the fact that a franchised business, because it's a system and a proven system, there is a much reduced chance of failure. Good franchises right now are hotel brands, are catering, are services. So anything like that. And a good franchise brand is a strong marketed brand, established good core values, obviously a profitable business, because that's what's important if you're investing your money into that franchise.
It seems clear that many leading executives believe franchising is the best way to develop a business today. But why is that? What makes it a safer option?
That was one of the key questions we put to the experts and visitors at the show, along with why it was especially suitable for certain sectors.
The franchise model is flexible, meaning that it can benefit a range of different business types looking for opportunities in the market. Career-focused women are just one of the sectors who have been shown to benefit from the franchising opportunity.
Encouraging women into franchising is a group, a voluntary group of lawyers, consultants, bankers, franchisors, franchisees and other professional advisors involved in the franchising industry. And really we got together a few years ago now as a not-for-profit organisation, meeting on regular occasions to really talk about franchising and women, and really encouraging women that either want to franchise their business or that want to be a franchisee to get into franchising, really sort of giving them help and guidance as to how they might want to do that. I mean, I'm a working mother myself, and I run my own business, and you know, I would never work for anybody else. Basically, it's great running your own business because you do have that flexibility. You know how much you need to earn, you know how many hours you want to do, and trying to find the right franchise that fits with that, you know, it's great. It gives you a huge opportunity to actually have a really rewarding life, and not just think if I'm not at home looking after the children, then you know, I'm not doing anything. You can have it all. what we've found is the franchisor members that have got female franchisees, they're very happy with them. They tend to make good franchisees as a rule. That's, you know, mustn't generalise too much. And there's also a lot of businesses out there that are run by women successfully, and we want them to think about franchising their business, to put other women, or and indeed other men, into franchising and running their own businesses. And we think that franchising does fit with a female-friendly sort of lifestyle, if you like, particularly with women that have children, because there can be some more flexibility maybe than if you're doing a 9-to-5 job. There's a lot of businesses in franchising that are involved around children, health and beauty, those sorts of things, which are naturally something that might be more interesting to women than to men. But really, I don't think there's any gender difference between, you know, if you make a good business person and you're passionate about your business, then you can be successful whether you're a man or a woman. I mean, two examples really. One's a cleaning business, which typically again is attracting female franchises, but quite often what happens is the female, the husband and wife team, for example, the wife will go into the business and it will be so successful that the man will then decide to give up his job to work you know, with his wife in the business. So that's a really nice, you know, sort of example of where franchising could be really successful as a lifestyle choice. Other franchises, I've got one that's a bookkeeping business, again classically something that you know, is female or male driven, and lots of male franchisees coming forward, even though the franchisor is female and has promoted it through EWIF and other areas, and attracted to females. So it really doesn't matter. What we want to make sure is that women actually realise that they can have a worthwhile and satisfying career, even if they haven't worked for a while, and that they can actually have something that's rewarding going forward and that fits in with their lifestyle.
But just as with any business model, there are disadvantages to setting up a franchise.
There are some risks to franchising, there's some risks to any business. The main disadvantages are that you don't have total control over what the business is about. So things are done for you, there's a supply chain already in place that you need to buy from, and the marketing is already in place. The other disadvantages are maybe other franchisees might damage the brand, which is something you've got no control over.
Today, apart from maybe being put off by that lack of control, the big disadvantage for most people interested in franchising is probably cost.
A franchisee will usually be expected to pay an initial amount to buy into the franchise agreement and then have to pay ongoing fees for the support and training provided by the franchisor. In the long term, of course, this means a restriction to the amount of profit and therefore money in your pocket that you can make as a franchisee.
As you expect, the franchise show was designed to provide valuable information and networking opportunities all together in one place, including both the positives and the negatives.
Before starting to consider franchising, you should ask yourself, are you ready? If not, what do you have to do to prepare? We came across one visitor to the show who was interested in franchising but had some concerns.
I mean, I've had friends that have franchises. Some have done rather well, some have worked very hard and only made a profit by selling it on afterwards. So, for example, buying a franchise that doesn't have anyone on its lists, anyone in its market, anyone on its database, and then creating a database in a new market gives you something to sell on. Then you built the business up for nothing. Now, that is indeed where you can actually make a lot of your money from. Of course, the hardship is how you survive in the meantime, building up that database that you can sell. Because once you've got good money coming in and books to show for it, then you can sell these things back on at a profit. So, you know, there's always that to bear in mind as well.
Jason's concern reflects the thoughts of most newcomers from outside of the franchise sector. We asked the franchisors and experts to give some tips for first-time franchisees.
Tips I would give. Number one, go back and track the track record. You know, how solid is the business? How long has it been trading? How many franchises have they got? And find out what their values are. Do you really align with the values of the franchise? You know, what do they stand for? What are they about? And do you line up with that? Because if you go forward with a franchise, you're likely to be in business with them for 5 years or more. You want to make sure that before you do that, there's a really good values fit. Okay, because you know that's really important. The next thing you really want to delve in is make sure that the training and support that they provide is really detailed, and it lasts more than just during the initial training period. So for example, with our training, we have an online academy which has got ongoing training, videos being uploaded all the time. We have 6 days of training a year where people come together. So is the franchise investing back in you after you become a franchise and they've got your money, or are they only interested in investing in you when they take your money? And that's a kind of key thing, I think, to what's the ongoing support piece like. And also, are there enough revenue models for you to make the kind of income that you want, right? Because if there's only 1 or 2 revenue models, that's dangerous. We have 6. So, you're looking at 6 different ways you can make money with our franchise. So you've got to say, well, does the franchise set me up for success, which is one of our values? And do they have multiple different ways of making money? Because the real truth is that, what businesses change all the time, and you've got to make sure that there are variations in different ways and that the franchisor is in it for the long term.
I think what makes ours special is the backup and support that we lend to our franchisees. That's critical. So if you're a good franchise company, that's really the hallmark of any good company, is support and training. The pitfalls, I would say, trying to reinvent the wheel, quote unquote. In other words, a lot of the things with our company we've proven over time and they work. So we just have people just follow that system. Don't try to change anything or reinvent anything. Put their personality into the business, yes, but don't change our methodologies and how we do things. They work, and the ones that use that become successful very quickly. So don't be a rebel, so to speak, and change the programs.
If you're going to buy into a franchise, then take a good look, do your research about the partner that you're going to get into bed with. How much support and training and mentoring is there going to be available for you? And one of the really good ways of doing that is to seek out existing franchisees, those who have been running a franchise with that partner for a number of years, and ask them what they think, because you're really going to get the right information from those who have been there and done it already before you. If you have your budget of what you are able to invest in total into your business venture, that's going to be split between what is the cost of buying the franchise and what is the amount of capital that you're going to need to be effectively starting up and running that franchise, because you don't want to run out of money. That's going to be a disaster. So, give it careful thought, do your sums properly, and make sure that the amount of money that you have available to spend is matched with the expectations, the realistic requirements of buying into that business or that franchise and getting it up and running to create the revenue that you're looking for. And the same goes whether it's the £30,000, whether it's £100,000, or whether it's just a couple of £1,000s. Whatever your position is financially, pick the right vehicle, but do your research properly, that you're not going to find yourself overextended and in trouble.
If there's no passion, there's no point. So do not go and get a business that you truly don't feel excited about. If you don't like being outside, don't get a franchise which is mowing lawns. Do something that you want to do. You've got one life, live it.
But there's a lot of things that obviously can go wrong. So you want to have top talent. You don't want to settle on managers. You want to go out and get the best managers you can. You don't want to settle on a site. You don't want to take a site that you're not sure about, but you just feel pressure to open a store. You want to wait and get the best site you can. And really, those are the 2 biggest things, are site selection and the hiring of managers. It's important for the franchisee to understand what they can expect from the franchisor, because it's a long relationship and it's a partnership. So it's a 15-year relationship, and you want to make sure that you're going to receive good support, marketing, purchasing, design and construction, culinary, all those things that will help make your business as successful as possible.
Have some sort of business acumen, be able to multitask, understand the fundamentals of business, but also understand that the process is in place for you and you're not to break it. Follow the way that franchise has always operated, and it will be a success.
So, at a franchise show, with a whole roomful of potential franchisees, we took the opportunity to ask the franchisors what kind of clients and business partners they were looking for. The million-dollar question: what makes a good franchisee?
Some
passion and have some experience, a restaurant, business experience with a positive mind. That's very important to make it successful business.
Great franchisees are people with passion for business. You've got to be passionate about helping businesses. You've got to have a track record of either running a business of your own or running and having responsibility for a business unit, maybe within a big corporate of some description. And you've got to be somebody who really understands the value of personal development and training yourself, and you're committed to investing in yourself to grow. And that's the kind of mindset that we look for.
Somebody who's got an entrepreneurial spirit, first of all. I'd say a very positive outlook to life really helps. A good feel of passion for what they're doing, and somebody who's a team player. After all, franchising is a group, and we're all a group because we've been successful. So people that are willing to be part of a group and listen, follow proven systems. That makes a good franchisee. Profiling, taking our time with a candidate to make sure they fit our system. That's critical as well. Franchising's not for everybody, but for the right people, it's excellent. You just have to find them.
Well, we like to have somebody that's entrepreneurial, that has proven success in other businesses, potentially has other food brands, maybe some franchises, whether they're UK-based or American-based, and somebody who has access to retail, good real estate space. So maybe that's London High Street, maybe that's in a mall, maybe that's in the airport, key areas that we want to be in.
A good franchise, well, they need to be well financed. They need to follow the process. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And understand that a lot of money has been invested in that brand, in that operation, and that if you follow those steps, you will have a successful business.
Please join us again after the break as we hear the lowdown on what makes a franchise a success from some of the business's highest flyers.